Cortez, GPS, you remember back in the day, you remember Legend of Zelda?
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
Hey, expensive as hell from what I heard. The, the new one it got.
I guess so. I guess this probably is. I don't know if it's still on NES or what, but I remember playing it hours and hours on end, trying to get every piece of that triangle medallion, whatever they had. It was just, to me, I just never could complete it. But here's the deal. Zelda is very valuable these days. So valuable.
Really?
Yeah, it is. It's so valuable that a rare Nintendo game was brought to a Goodwill and it sold for $411,000. So,
Wow.
there was an ultra rare old school Nintendo video game that sold for the record price. And it's all for a good cause. Now, this is what happened. Someone donated a factory sealed copy of Nintendo's The Legend of Zelda to a Goodwill in Connecticut. And the nonprofit sold it through its online auction
That's the
house.
gold-plated one.
Yes, sir. It sold for $411,278. We were told that the vintage video game is the most expensive item ever sold on shopgoodwill.com since the website went live back in '99. This is some 13 years after Zelda came out on the original Nintendo console. It's very rare to find a new version of the video game from '86, and Zelda has a cult following. Of course, it's well known. So Goodwill says that the $411,000 will help organize a career center in Stamford, Connecticut, benefiting job seekers in surrounding communities as they look to get back to the work following the pandemic. Cortez,
And it will.
yeah, Cortez.
Yeah, because
Go ahead.
I mean, the original, I beat the game.
Really?
I beat it, man.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. It was, the original one was gold-plated, man. It was gold-plated, the original Zelda game.
Yep.
Because it's something that Nintendo, like if you bought the Nintendo system, you usually got the Mario Brothers and you got the Duck Hunt thing with it, man.
Yes.
Duck Hunt came with it, whatever.
Yep.
Yep.
And if you had a little bit of money, you bought it was a robotic
Gyromite. Yes.
Gyromite, thank you, was with that and everything. I didn't realize it then. If I knew them, man, but they were still expensive at that time, man. You get Nintendo games are still expensive.
Yeah.
At that time, they didn't change that much. But I remember getting that Legend of Zelda for Christmas, man, and that shit was like, it's hard to explain, but I never seen a gold cartridge before, man. Until I seen that, that thing, it blew me away. I was like, good Lord, what is this? And it was like, man, I was going through the adventure with Link and trying to help out the princess and all that, man. It was a good game, man. I wish they would go back to stuff like the basic video games, man. Now today, you threw me in the Legend of Zelda updates or whatever, I wouldn't be able to keep up with that shit, man.
Oh, dude, there's so much to do. I mean, it looks nothing like the linear version that we know.
Definitely.
My son said he had played the 3D version. I mean, he's, jumping off of mountains, but, he's jumping off of mountains into the screen, past, not across the screen, but into the screen, deeper and deeper and deeper, so, and that just says the technology that we know from we were 16 to when my son was 16, that we're talking 30 years, and he was really doing it probably 6 years into that. So it's really not even 30, it's probably more like 20.
Yeah.
And
correct.
Those gold-plated cartridges, they really look good now just because of what they are.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to make any of those games like that no more.
No.
You're not going to see that anymore. So it's I gotta tell you, just to hear that, it's like, wow. I remember, if I don't have one sitting somewhere around here, not that I live in Mount Airy, I don't really live here, but just in case it's somewhere around here, to let him maybe see that from what it is now. Oh my God! I mean, the basic Nintendos would probably come up in value if they still work.
Oh yeah, they do.
If they're in the boxes, man.
Yep.
If they're
sealed.
in the boxes,
if they're sealed.
if they still have not been used.
Mm-hmm.
I think they gotta have a score. They rank them now, man. They gotta have a score of a 9.8 or whatever.
Something
man. At
least minimum. At least minimum. You're right.
Still fresh out of the box.
Hell yeah.
Cause I never like when Mike Tyson Punch Out that came out.
Damn.
They don't even have the Mike Tyson Punch Out. Like if you go to regular arcade, like I went out, we all play video games, man.
Mm-hmm.
They just had the regular Punch Out.
Yeah.
They don't have the Mike Tyson Punch Out no more because I think they were having licenses issues going on. So if you have an original copy of the Mike Tyson Punch Out, not open, you probably can make a little bit more than what Zelda made. Absolutely. You probably can, man.
You probably could. And just think if you had it signed by Tyson too.
Oh yeah, man. Because they don't, it was at that time we were very naive. We just been playing the games. We didn't think about maybe we should save these games and put them in storage.
How about
we weren't thinking that way, man. We were just playing them. That's what we did. We played the games and that was it. And then we moved on to another game. But yeah, I mean, somewhere out there in some Foot Locker or somewhere out in some storage bin, it's probably some Nintendo games.
Yeah. Yeah,
worth a few dollars.
Probably is. So that's why sometimes it might not be too shameful to go and check out your local yard sales and everything around the communities, because you never know, you find hidden gems. True to life fact: one guy years ago went to a flea market, found a picture frame, bought it. Looked nice. It was about a 10-cent picture frame, but it was kind of like peeling. He peeled it. Inside was a copy of the Declaration of Independence.
40. Well, how much was that? I remember that story. The guy was like, "How much was it, man?" That he sold it for
at least a couple mil.
Oh yeah. So folks, don't be. Hey, that stuff you might think is trash or whatever. It's a treasure.
Yep. Indeed. So I wish I still had my Nintendo now. I think Cortez wish he still had his old Nintendo. So
man, that thing,
I still got my old Nintendo. What am I talking about? I still got mine.
If it still worked, the only problem I had with the old Nintendos were if the cartridge, how you had to blow in the cartridge to get the dust out of it.
Get all that acid into your system. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And that's the only problem. The only problem Nintendo had was if you had it for a good while, you would put the cartridge in, it didn't work. You had to do a special ritual and everything.
Oh, yeah. You smack. What you do is I used to do that. I used to grab it and smack it on both sides, and then just blow into it. Smack it up, and then just when you put it in, you kind of force it in and slam it down, and then it would turn on. Or if it didn't work, what you would do, you hit the reset button over it, click it, click, and then it finally comes on.
That's the only issue I had with it was that, man, and I think that was the only issue. Then you're right, if the spring in it popped, you had to figure out other ways to hold the game down. So you might tape it down. You had to tape it down sometimes.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why they didn't last that long. But I mean, everything is a collector's now. Everything's a collector item now.
Yes, indeed.
From the 90s and 80s, mid 80s, man.
True. So just check out what you got. If you got some old relics up there, they might be worth some money. So don't throw them away just yet.